Coming up right now in Marlborough this week, we have results from Clean Sweep 2010. A Marlborough man was stabbed in the stomach and no arrests have been made. Plus, the contract for the Council on Aging's director has not been renewed. And later in this half hour, after 29 seasons with the Marlborough girls soccer team, Doug Freeman has not been rehired for this fall. Those stories and more on this week's show. Marlborough This Week begins right now. Residents took pride in their city and helped beautify our community last weekend thanks to a citywide cleanup event. Welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette. Here's more on Clean Sweep 2010.
Thank all the people that have come out on this beautiful day to help with our annual Clean Sweep program to beautify the city.
With last weekend's beautiful weather, Clean Sweep 2010 couldn't have picked a better day. Hundreds of residents came out to help with the citywide event on Saturday, May 1st. Volunteers were asked to meet at DPW headquarters at 9 a.m. Mayor Nancy Stevens began the event with an opening remark.
I want to specifically recognize a couple of groups, companies, Boston Scientific, Dow Chemical, Raytheon, and some of our associations, the Fort Meadow Association, the French Hill Neighborhood Association, our scouts. We have a lot of scouts here today. Thank them so much for doing this.
The Clean Sweep events for the city take a lot of planning in advance, and there were lots of departments to thank.
The Department of Public Works, once again, for really coordinating this with our Conservation Officer, Priscilla Ryder. I want to thank my colleagues that are here today with the City Council, City Councilor Ed Clancy, City Councilor Don Landers, City Councilor Rob Seymour, and City Councilor Paul Farrow. I want to thank the councilors, the 4 councilors that are here today for their support. It's a wonderful event, and we look forward every year to really making a difference in the community. Last year, we were able to pick up 6 tons of trash, over 6 tons, and we're looking this year to make sure that we beat that.
Once work assignments were given, it was off to the roads to clean up our streets and parks. Our cameras could only catch so many people in action, but hundreds of volunteers scoured the city looking for trash. Over 7 tons of trash was picked up by the over 232 volunteers. Event organizers are so amazed at how many people got out and helped make this day a success.
So I want to thank all the organizations, the families that have come out today for being here and making this such a great day.
The day didn't stop there. Residents also had the opportunity to learn more about how they can go green in their own household thanks to the city's Earth Day fair that was held at Galone Park.
It's an opportunity for folks to really connect to the resources in the community, to learn about what they can do to go green.
Visitors to the 3rd annual Marlborough Earth Day Fair on May 1st enjoyed the green backdrop of Galone Park, blue skies, and summery warm weather this year. There were plenty of things for people to learn about and enjoy.
We had a really good group of people put this together from Green Marlborough. There were, I don't know, maybe a dozen folks all together working to put a number of different pieces together, find the music, the fun part, the educational pieces, so they did a great job of pulling it together.
Specific experts and exhibits responded to visitors' questions about energy, water, recycling, green products and services, transportation and recreation, and sustainable choices. New to the fair this year was Bike Marlborough and Marlborough Local Food. Schools were represented as well by students, parents, and faculty who were on hand with exhibits from Assabet Valley High School, AMSA, and Immaculate Conception.
I think a lot of people today are looking for ways that they can, save money and reduce waste and do something good for the environment. So the fair is an opportunity for people to find out about the resources that we have locally to make a difference.
Assabet had students and posters describing their hybrid vehicle, eco-friendly design, and solar projects.
As a student, I really do believe that we should start going green now so we can stay green in the future.
The electronics recycling was a success and brought in hundreds of dollars to benefit Marlborough Public Schools. This is an environmentally friendly way to dispose of things, to reuse and recycle them.
The biggest key to it all is to reduce the solid waste and get people promote the recycling, get the recycling numbers up. We save on the amount of tonnages that the city currently pays on. We have a high tipping fee, so not only do we pay for the pickup of the solid waste and recycling, but also until the disposal of it.
Although there was a lot of information for parents, kids were able to enjoy face painting and nibble on s'mores baked in a solar oven. And while all of this was going on, some truly talented musicians played music in the background. They included singer P.E. James, a known guitarist and singer in the area, and top of the slide, a group of Marlborough 9th grade students. Check out greenmarlborough.org to see more pictures from this great event. A Marlborough man was stabbed 5 times in the stomach early Wednesday morning on Belmont Street.
The victim was stabbed, so to speak, 5 times in the abdomen with not a very sharp object, a blunt object or a tapered blunt type object.
The victim, in his early 30s, was treated at Marlborough Hospital and is okay.
Nothing life-threatening. All the wounds were superficial. The deepest wound was only 2 centimeters.
As of Wednesday afternoon, police were looking for a suspect described in early reports as a 6'1" man wearing a black hooded sweatshirt.
We do have leads on the perpetrator and the vehicle that the perpetrator drives and all that, and the detective unit is actively investigating that right now.
Police say they don't believe the crime is related to the recent Hudson stabbing. Residents and staff came out to the District Education Center on Tuesday and Wednesday night to get to know and question the 4 finalists in the school district's superintendent search. Here's a recap of the 2 nights. Marlborough Assistant Superintendent James Jolliker and Kelly Clenchy, superintendent for 3 Maine towns, took questions from about 20 people, including parents and teachers, for about an hour each on Wednesday night. And Weymouth High School Principal Anthony Pope and Revere High School Principal David DeRusi answered the public on Tuesday. All candidates state that if chosen, they would be visible leaders. Glenn Kuchar, Executive Director of the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, was moderator at these 2 forums. In case you missed our live coverage of these public forums, we will be rerunning them for you starting this Saturday, May 8th at noon. All 4 candidate interviews will be shown in the following order: Weymouth High School Principal Anthony Pope, Revere High School Principal David DeRusi, Assistant Superintendent James Jolliker, and lastly, Kelly Clenchy, Superintendent of 3 Maine towns in the state of Maine. The school committee hopes to pick the new superintendent this month. In one of his first moves as incoming athletic director, Jeff Rodzinski has decided not to rehire girls soccer coach Doug Freeman for another season. Freeman has coached the soccer team for 29 years, and in that time, the Panthers have won 3 state championships, 10 Division I Central titles, and 14 league titles. You'll be hearing more about this story coming up in sports. Well, on to more changes. Mayor Nancy Stevens confirmed last week that she is looking for a new director to lead the city's Council on Aging, as Amy Lovelace's contract will not be renewed. Lovelace, who was picked in September of 2004 by then Mayor Dennis Hunt, could not be reached for comment. A spokesman for the mayor's office states that Marlborough resident Jack Gracie will be serving as interim director, working part-time. Gracie began his interim position this past Monday. Still to come as we continue with Marlborough this week, lights, camera, fashion. Students modeled their own creations this past week. But first, students at one local elementary school got the chance to participate in a national event. That story is next. Please stay with us.
Hi, it's Tony Wolf, Executive Director of Employment Options. I want you to join me and others as we salute the public service of former State Representative Steve Ledoux. We'll do this by roasting him. This fun-filled event will take place May 20th at the...
What are you doing?
Steve, we talked about this.
I never heard anything about this.
Sorry. The event will take place at the Best Western Hotel in Marlborough on May 20th. Tickets are $40 and benefit the programs of Employment Options. We're going to try to raise much-needed funds for the organization and have a great time in the process.
So wait a second. Now you're going to raise money at my expense? Who's going to have a good time? It won't be me.
Never mind. Steve Ledoux has been so good-natured about this whole thing, so please log on to employmentoptions.org and find out how you can get tickets. We really need your support, and we'll have a great time.
Good-natured? Good-natured. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot I'm being good-natured about this whole thing. Who do you think I am? How did I get myself into this thing? What did I have to do to you? Was I reading the script?
Welcome back to Marlborough this week. The Jarrick Elementary School took part in an outdoor activity this past Wednesday afternoon that got everyone moving and motivated to make exercise a regular part of their everyday lives. We spoke with physical education teacher Irene Mazmanian to learn more about ACEs.
The reason why we're here is because this is National Physical Education and Sport Week, and we want to honor that with a physical pursuit.
Each May, millions of school children all over the globe will exercise simultaneously in a symbolic gesture of fitness and unity. Students at Jarrick Elementary School joined the millions of children around the world who participated in the international exercise event on Wednesday afternoon.
ACES is an acronym for All Children Exercise Simultaneously. So we're all going to be out here power walking today for 15 minutes or so, and then the children will all enter the building under the cheering and clapping of the third graders, who are the big kids at this school.
This non-competitive program has proven to be educational, motivational, and fun.
It just empowers them to say, hey, look, even if I don't have 5 kids to play basketball with, I can go out and take a walk, or I can, run, or take my dog for a walk.
Starting its 21st year worldwide, ACES has reached millions of children, parents, and teachers, including participants from more than 50 countries. Organized by the nonprofit Youth Fitness Coalition, Project ACES is typically held on the first Wednesday in May in conjunction with the National Physical Fitness and Sports Month.
We're doing our part to get these kids moving and hopefully increase their health and well-being.
Some schools have encouraged more foot traffic with ideas like Walking Wednesdays to help keep students active before school. Students once again laced up their sneakers to walk to school this past Wednesday morning. This walking program will be running until the end of the school year, and Wellness Committee members encourage all children to join in on the fun. To celebrate the International Walk to School Day, students walk to school with the Wellness Committee's Before School program. Free, convenient, enjoyable, and does not require special equipment or training, walking is a great way for adults and kids to be active. Lack of physical activity is a major cause of chronic illness and death for our country's adults. Being overweight can cause health problems like diabetes during childhood, and research shows that physically inactive kids are more likely to grow up to be physically inactive as adults and are therefore at high risk for obesity and related illnesses. There are plenty of reasons to walk to school: less traffic, safer streets, cleaner air, but one of the best is that children and parents will be healthier. With obesity rates skyrocketing and only 1/4 of Americans able to get the Surgeon General's recommended daily dose of exercise, it's an ideal time to encourage people to walk to school for their own health and well-being. Walking Wednesdays is a great way to incorporate more physical activity into your day, and your students can do so safely thanks to volunteers in the Marlborough Police Department. Drivers beware on Wednesday mornings, as there will be police presence monitoring the streets between the hours of 7 and 8:30 a.m. Check marlboroughwellness.org for routes by school. Some of our older students may not take part in Walking Wednesdays, but they did walk the catwalk to show off some of their own creations this past week. The show took place at Marlborough High School, and it was a chance to show off what the students have been working on in their clothing classes. The Family and Consumer Science Department of Marlborough High School presented its annual fashion show of student work on Wednesday night in the Marlborough High School Little Theater. The theme for the show was based on the popular fairy tale Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and was destined to please an audience of all ages. Scenes from Snow White were actually performed throughout the show. All fashions modeled in the show were the creations of the students in the clothing classes at Marlborough High School. Garments ranged from loungewear to evening wear and included everything in between. All the items were modeled by the students themselves, family members, and members of this community. A fundraiser for the Buddy Dog Humane Society in Sudbury, your Pet of the Week, and your local sports wrap-up. It's all coming up next. Don't move. We're back after this short break.
Hi, firefighter Mark Asenko here with some safe summer tips for you. It's summertime, and that means it's grill time. But before we get started, here are 3 safety tips that you need to know. Before you turn on the gas, make sure the cover is up. Make sure you turn on the gas slowly. When igniting, keep your face away from the grill. Follow these tips and you'll have a safe and tasty barbecue.
Welcome back to Marlborough this week. By now, all of our viewers should be pretty familiar with our Pet of the Week segment that takes place at the Buddy Dog Animal Shelter in Sudbury. Buddy Dog has placed thousands of animals in loving homes, and in an effort to raise money, they will be holding an appraisal day to benefit the shelter. Here are the details. Buddy Dog Animal Shelter in Sudbury gives a new lease on life to impounded and homeless dogs and cats, and you can now help them carry on this mission by attending an upcoming event. On Sunday, May 16th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., an appraisal day will be held at the Best Friends Pet Care Facility at 150 Boston Post Road to benefit the shelter. You can find out the value of your treasures and help raise money for the shelter at the same time. Two appraisers from Skinner auctioneers and appraisers will be on hand to provide a verbal estimate of the value of items. It's $10 for one item or $25 for three. The Best Friends Pet Care Facility is right across the street from the Buddy Dog Animal Shelter in Sudbury. For more information, please call 978-443-6990.
Today we have Lulu, and Lulu is a sweet little girl. She's a bit on the shy side, but once she gets to know you, she's very lovey and friendly. She just wants to sit in your lap and be with you. She's playful, she's active, she's excellent with other dogs. She's going to make a great pet for someone with patience that's willing to work with her. And she's up for adoption here at Buddy Dog. If you're interested, please call us. It's 978-443-6990.
Hello Marlborough, Rob O'Keefe back again with another week of sports. Girls soccer coach Doug Freeman will not be returning this fall. All of the coaches at Marlborough High School are hired on a year-to-year basis, and new athletic director Jeff Rudzinski had decided to bring someone else on board to manage the team. Rudzinski told the Metro West Daily News that a decision like this is not easy at all. It was done with the best interest of the kids and the program, but we're very comfortable and we believe very strongly we have made the right decision. In his 29 years as head coach, Doug Freeman compiled a record of 391 wins, 116 losses, and 82 ties. As head coach, Freeman coached the Panthers to 3 state championships, 10 Division I Central titles, and 14 league titles. No replacement has been named at this time. Now to some highlights of the week. The Panther boys lacrosse team facing a very good Groton-Dunstable team on Tuesday at Vital Field. In the first period, 1-0 Groton. Loose ball, Mike Penny grabs it and scores, 2-0. Then Marlborough cuts the lead in half when Pete Shiori finds Zach Charbonneau for the goal, 2-1. Marlborough would follow that up with a couple of nice shots, but to no avail. First, Cody Evangelist with a shot that hits the post. Then Evan Cooper finds an opening that just misses the net. Second period now, Groton turns up the offense. The first goal was a bit controversial. English with the shot, you make the call. Marlborough goalie Mike Marini doesn't think the ball cleared the goal line, but the refs disagree. The botched call may have fired up Marlborough a little bit, so Marlborough takes some frustration out on Groton-Dunstable. Marlborough's Kyle Danahy laying out a big hit, and adding insult to injury, seconds later, he scores a goal. Unfortunately, not much else from the Panther offense on this day. They go on to lose 12-4 and drop to 3-7 on the year. A year ago at this time, the volleyball equipment at Assabet Valley was locked away in a storage closet, waiting for the girls' volleyball team to drag it out in the fall.
1, 2, 3,
A lot has changed in a year. This spring, for the first time in Assabet's long history, athletic director Terry Riley felt the timing was right to add boys volleyball to the athletic program.
A lot of kids who played on our girls team, and they kept asking for a boys team, so we started intramurals to see what the interest was like. And they keep being interest each year, 8 to 10, 12 guys. So we decided we were ready to jump ahead and try a boys volleyball team.
Head coach Jeremiah Encarnacion says the first year has been a learning experience. Many of the players have never even picked up a volleyball. He has had to teach the athletes everything from the rules of the game to the fundamentals of how to play. All this being said, he is very pleased with how much these kids have developed.
The boys have definitely progressed from the beginning stages, definitely from the first day of practice when they knew nothing about the sport at all or ever playing organized volleyball, to now we actually are, look like a volleyball team and we can compete at the high levels in this league.
This team can compete with the big boys. Assabet Valley was the only school in the Colonia Athletic League without a boys volleyball team, but they have stepped into the league and have proved they are not to be taken lightly.
Like when we started, we lost our first game, but then we won our second, and we beat Keith Tech, which was a good win. We almost beat Blackstone. We were in overtime, and we played all 5 games, overtime in 3 out of the 5, and we lost, but we're gonna win next time, and hopefully we'll do good, make it to districts.
Only 9 players joined the team this year, leaving the Aztec bench pretty thin, but all 9 will be back next year and maybe with a few extra friends as well.
I think it'll improve as the kids see how exciting a game it is. I really kind of like to enjoy watching the boys compared to the girls because they're a little more exciting because they can get up there and smash that ball. So it is a more exciting game.
There should be many more exciting games in the years to come and maybe a few more banners to hang in the Aztec gym as well. Now let's check out the scoreboard.
This week we had lots of sunshine and warm temperatures. Let's see if it lasts. Here's a look at your 5-day forecast.
This is Ducky Duck. Ducky Duck is really no different than you and I. You see, Ducky enjoys using Marlborough's rivers, streams, lakes, and ponds for travel, leisure, and even for drinking water. But Ducky needs your help. When humans mistake stormwater drains for sewers, it causes many problems. While sewers are connected to the plumbing in our houses, stormwater catch basins are completely separate and flow directly into our public water supply. Polluted waterways can affect the quality of our drinking water, our wildlife, and the overall health of our city. So when you discard trash, fertilizers, or oils into these drains, it's bad news for Ducky and for you. Help keep our waterways clean.
Welcome back to Marlborough This Week. Don't forget, Part 2 of the free Internet Safety Program being presented at Marlborough Public Library will continue this Monday, May 10th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. The program is designed for children and parents and will focus on cyberbullying, appropriate texting, and posting personal information online. The program is free and open to the public. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Coming up right now in Marlborough This Week, the superintendent's search is over. We'll introduce you to your new leader. Fiscal year 2011's budget is set and scheduled hearings have been canceled. Plus, an annual spring tradition gets postponed to the fall. And later in this half hour, the Rotary Club's recent meeting targets healthcare and Marlborough Hospital. Those stories and more on this week's show. Marlborough This Week begins right now. The search is over for a new school superintendent. The school committee has chosen Dr. Anthony Pope. Welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette. Here's more on this week's top story. The school committee on Tuesday night selected Weymouth High School principal Anthony Pope to lead the school department. The city's new superintendent has stated that he wants to help create a world-class school district. Pope has been a principal in Weymouth since August 2008. He previously served in school leadership roles in Texas, Providence, and Stamford, Connecticut. School committee members praised Pope's experience in diverse communities, his collaborative style, and his ability to identify leadership. 4 of the 7 school committee members originally gave their votes to Pope, and the other 3 members then switched their votes to Pope to make it unanimous. The new superintendent does not have an official start date yet, although the school committee's goal was to have the new boss begin on July 1st. A contract still needs to be worked out within the city. Superintendent Mary Carlson is retiring in October. In a meeting that started Monday evening and stretched past midnight into Tuesday morning, the City Council approved a $121.3 million fiscal 2011 budget, cutting about $2.5 million from the mayor's recommendation. Here are the details.
Mayor Nancy Stevens had recommended a $123.8 million budget, an increase of 4.94%, or $5.8 million, over the current year. The City Council's approved budget marks an increase of about $3.35 million more than the current year. Major City Council cuts included $250,000 from the school department, $63,000 from Human Services, and $64,000 from the Planning Department. The Finance Committee's budget hearings with city departments had been scheduled to begin this past Thursday. Council President Arthur Vigent said the council last passed a budget without hearings 10 to 12 years ago and thinks most of the councilors had gone through the budget line by line this year and were ready to act on it. Councilors Peter Jouer, Edward Clancy, and Donald Landers strongly opposed cutting from the budget without hearing from department heads. The council's cut to the Planning Department eliminated all the funding for that department, including the planner's salary. The cut to the Human Services Department included the elimination of the director's salary. Councilors said the mayor's budget would have led to an estimated 8% increase in the average tax bill. And with the councilors' reductions, Vigent said he hopes the increase is closer to 3 or 4%. Earlier in the meeting, developers at 2 different City Council public hearings presented plans that could change the face of the Walker Estate and the undeveloped land off Route 20 behind Wendy's. Melanson Development Group is seeking a special permit to allow adaptive reuse of the Walker Estate on Framingham Road and the construction of new homes around it. The plan would preserve the historic Frank Walker home and improve the neighborhood. At the other public hearing, Gutierrez Company outlined a proposed zoning change that could lead to a mixed-use development bordered by Route 20, Glen Street, and Ames Street. The developer is asking the City Council to extend the business zone deeper into the light industrial zoned land off Route 20. The change would allow for the apartment complexes planned for the eastern part of the site. The plan calls for 300 apartments. The developer would request a special permit if the council okays the zoning change. The Urban Affairs Committee will discuss the proposals from both public hearings. For this week's Committee Corner, I'm Dan Ginden.
A great event that was supposed to have taken place at the end of this month has been postponed. The annual Mayor's Senior Dinner scheduled for May 27th has been rescheduled. It will now be taking place this fall. The announcement of an exact date will be declared as soon as possible. The event includes dinner, music, and the presentation of the Senior of the Year award. While it's official, there will be now a Ward 4 preliminary special election on June 15th to take the current 3 candidates down to 2. Here are more details. The June 15th contest will trim the field from 3 candidates down to 2, setting the stage for a head-to-head showdown in the final election set for July 13th. Ward 4 City Councilor Peter Jouer has announced his resignation effective June 30th, prompting this need for a special election. Jouer is moving to Florida to help run his family's elder care facility. Candidates who have returned nomination papers are Laura Butland, Stephen Kerrigan, and Robert Tunera. The healthy field of candidates offers a sharp contrast to ward contests in the normal election cycle, which routinely attract only 1 or 2 hopefuls. With no incumbent in this field, the election is truly wide open with anything possible. The Massachusetts School Building Authority has written Marlborough a $9.6 million check to help take care of the remaining debt on a middle school project. This payment replaces 9 annual payments the MSBA planned to make over the next 9 years for an addition and renovation project at the school. The project costs $38.1 million, including $13.9 million in interest. The state's share is 62% of the cost. From the middle school to the high school next month, nearly 40,000 people will rise from their seats as Marlborough students take the field at Fenway Park. The Red Sox selected the Marlborough High School a cappella choir to perform the national anthem at the June 16th game against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The group of 21 students recorded an audition tape in February, and the students learned the news that they had been chosen in April. Still to come as we continue with Marlborough this week, Marlborough Hospital's president talks healthcare at a recent club meeting. But first, your state senator and state representative came together to speak at a legislative breakfast. That story is next. Please stay with us.
Hi, it's Tony Wolf, Executive Director of Employment Options. I want you to join me and others as we salute the public service of former State Representative Steve Ledoux. We'll do this by roasting him. This fun-filled event will take place May 20th at the...
What are you doing?
Steve, we talked about this.
I never heard anything about this.
Sorry. The event will take place at the Best Western Hotel in Marlborough on May 20th. Tickets are $40 and benefit the programs of Employment Options. We're going to try to raise much-needed funds for the organization and have a great time in the process.
So wait a second. Now you're going to raise money at my expense? Who's going to have a good time? It won't be me.
Never mind. Steve Ledoux has been so good-natured about this whole thing, so please log on to employmentoptions.org and find out how you can get tickets. We really need your support, and we'll have a great time.
Good-natured? Good-natured. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot I'm being good-natured about this whole thing. Who do you think I am? How did I get myself into this thing? What did I ever do to you? Was I reading the script?
Welcome back to Marlborough this week. Concerns and positive changes for the future were on the agenda at a recent legislative breakfast held by our local Chamber of Commerce. Here's more on Tuesday's talk with State Representative Danielle Gregoire and State Senator Jamie Eldridge. The Marlborough Regional Chamber of Commerce hosted a legislative breakfast on Tuesday morning to offer the chance to members and residents to listen and ask questions to State Representative Danielle Gregoire and State Senator Jamie Eldridge. State Representative Gregoire spoke first, starting with the status on casinos.
Recently, the House did pass a bill that would allow for 2 full-scale resort casinos in the Commonwealth, as well as 4 slot parlors to be located at the existing racetracks.
Gregoire took some time to make the vote to accept casinos here in the Bay State, but in the end, Gregoire is now for the developments.
We did pass that bill, and we're looking forward to hearing from the Senate as to what they're going to do with it.
Gregoire also addressed the city's budget.
You don't need me to tell you that this is a bad time, that we have baked in approximately $2 billion of one-time revenue to the fiscal year 11 budget as a house, just to sustain levels of service in some areas and still to continue cutting in others.
State Senator Jamie Aldridge spoke next, and he began his talk with small business concerns. First up, the Senate Economic Development Bill.
It's really an overhaul of all these different economic development agencies, whether quasi-public or state agencies like the Mass Office of Business Development, and looking to overhaul them to make sure there's a better response to the business community, especially the small business community.
Aldridge stated that within this overhaul, the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism has now been put under the Massachusetts Marketing Partnership.
For the first time, out of that will be a Metro West Tourism Bureau. And so there'll be a bureau that will be serving Metro West that can highlight the historical, the cultural, the business opportunities and availabilities in this area. And that will serve as a way to market this area, including here in the city of Marlborough.
Then it was on to capital availability to small business owners.
What the Senate did is created the Massachusetts Growth Capital Corporation, and that will give access to working capital for small businesses.
Next was a piece of legislation that would help spur the economy and help to bring more clean energy to Massachusetts. It's called PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy.
There's many entrepreneurs, especially in this area, involved in energy efficiency, involved in alternative energy like solar and wind. And it's going to create a greater market that's going to create more jobs, whether you're talking about construction jobs or just further developing the technology.
Once the two legislative leaders were finished discussing topics that they felt would be beneficial to their audience, a question and answer period began. The legislative breakfast is a great opportunity to hear about what faces Massachusetts in the near future. All attendees found the breakfast to be informing. The Rotary Club's recent meeting welcomed Marlborough Hospital's president and CEO, John Polanowitz, to speak to its members. With healthcare reform on our minds, there was lots to talk about.
Has a perception of what organizations are or may have been at some point in the past, and I think that we've had so many things change at the hospital that it's important for us to be out in the community and tell our story.
Marlborough Hospital's president and CEO, John Polanowitz, spoke to Marlborough Rotarians about where the hospital has been and where it is today.
It was an opportunity to come and talk about not only the history of the hospital, and this year with Marlborough being 350 years old, we're 120 years old this year, but also the things that have changed over the last few years in terms of the hospital, our focus on quality, the winning of the Betsy Lehman Patient Safety Award, the fact that we finished #2 in the state in terms of inpatient volume growth, and all the new physicians that we've brought onto staff, which are really making a difference in providing care for the community.
As Polanowitz spoke about the hospital through the years, one thing that the hospital has definitely made a priority in recent years is community outreach.
I think one of the things that we're very focused on is, as a community hospital and as this community's hospital, the outreach piece is very important to us. So we've done a lot of work this year around stroke, this being National Stroke Month. We have done over 60 community education sessions around stroke. We participate in many of the community events, whether it be in Hudson at the Hudson Community Fest or the Marlborough Heritage Days and other events to provide additional health education for the community.
Despite all the positives, healthcare reform still looms over the healthcare industry.
We're all trying to figure out what the ultimate effects of the healthcare reform are, and I think most people in the hospital industry believe that we needed some kind of reform. It's just unclear to us at this point what the effects are going to be.
Polanowitz went on to say that this reform is going to greatly affect Marlborough Hospital's revenue.
It's a very difficult situation right now, and all we can do is, a lot of those are really outside our control. The things that are inside our control is our ability to provide high quality care personalized service in the community setting, and that's what we're trying to focus on.
Overall, Polanowicz's talk was a positive one, and he feels grateful to have had the opportunity to share the hospital's accomplishments with residents. Talks like these help the hospital better serve this community.
We hear stories about areas where we've done very well, which we're very happy to hear about, and areas where we didn't quite do as well, and it's an opportunity for us to fix those things and improve them, because that's what we're really trying to do with all aspects of the services that we have.
Our local Chamber of Commerce's Women's Business Luncheon is a great opportunity for women to connect, share information, and success stories. This past Friday at the Embassy Suites Hotel, Lori Lineback, a culinary arts chef from Southborough, spoke to the Women's Business Council to share her story. When thinking of whom to invite to speak at the Women's Business Council, the Chamber tries to invite women who are successful individuals in all aspects of their life, including being a great businesswoman. At Friday's Women's Business Luncheon, Lori Lineback of Southborough spoke about her business, Culinary Underground. Lineback had began her career as a teacher, but her love of cooking came out later in life, and now she's a culinary arts teacher within her own business.
Teaching and cooking, the two things I love, have, dovetailed into what I do now, which is the greatest gig in town.
Despite the economy, her business is booming since more and more women are looking to cook at home instead of relying on the expensive activity of going out to eat. Owning and operating a small business is indeed a tough job, but there are some things you can do to make the task easier.
Making connections, networking in a small community like this is just absolutely critical. And because we get a lot of people through, I learn all kinds of things from my students about what's going on and acting on those things. I think that's the best advice I could give.
Lineback admits she hates to tell women to get back into the kitchen, but she does say if you love your family, helping them to eat good, wholesome food is one of the most important things you can do.
We try to get that message out. It doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be elaborate, it just has to be good.
Being a businesswoman, a mother, and a wife can be quite hard to juggle, but Lineback has a solution that works for her.
Everything has to be scheduled. You have to know exactly where you are and what you'll be doing at that time. It's a drag, but it's the way it makes it work.
On to another Chamber event that's coming up, their annual PGO. The Premier Golf Open is one of the longest running and most entertaining golf tournaments in the area, and it's happening this Tuesday, May 18th. The event takes place at Marlborough Country Club. Registration begins at 8 a.m. and the event runs until about 6 p.m. Reservations are required, so please call the Chamber at 508-485-7746 for more information. An upcoming celebrity roast, your pet of the week, and your local sports wrap-up. It's all coming up next. Don't move. We're back after this short break. Welcome back to Marlborough this week. Former State Representative Steve LeDuc will be on the hot seat as the first person to be roasted at the Employment Options Celebrity Roast to benefit the local organization. The event is coming up next Thursday, May 20th. It will be a fun event for all while raising money for a great cause. Employment Options, a recognized leader in providing a variety of crucial services to those recovering from mental illness, is bringing back the old-time celebrity roast on an annual basis in hopes of bringing a new and extremely comical and witty event to the city of Marlborough, in addition to raising much-needed funds for the programs of the organization. The roast will take place Thursday, May 20th at the Best Western Royal Plaza Hotel. While the list of people expressing interest in roasting Representative LeDuc is growing, the event will only host 10 to 12 individuals to have that opportunity. Those who'd like to purchase tickets in advance can visit the Employment Options website at employmentoptions.org/roast.
Today we have Baby. And Baby is a 2-year-old Shih Tzu. They're generally great little lap dogs, They don't require a lot of exercise usually. She's a pretty quiet dog. She just came in last week. She's waiting to be spayed. She's going to make a great family pet, be lots of good company. So if you'd like to know more about Baby, please feel free to call us at Buddy Dog. The number is 978-443-6990.
Hello Marlborough, I'm Rob O'Keefe. Let's check out your highlights for this week. Assabet Valley girls softball taking on rival Blackstone Valley. We'll pick it up in the top of the third. Aztec ace Erin Moore on the mound. She's in trouble early with the score 4-0 Blackstone in the second inning. She gets out of this jam though with a strikeout. Bottom of the inning, Assabet threatening with runners on second and third. 2 outs and Meg McMahon goes down swinging. In the next inning, Moore in trouble again. A walk loads the bases. The next batter with a line shot knocked down nicely by Moore, but she overthrows the catcher, which allows the run to score. Bases still loaded. Blackstone with a ground rule double scores 2 more, make it 7-0 Blackstone. Nothing going right for the Aztecs in this day. A nice line drive, but the Blackstone second baseman goes head over tea kettle to make a nice grab. Wow, what a play. In the same inning, the Aztecs finally catch a break, well, kind of. The runner on first, freshman Brittany Lutz with a shot to the fence in left, scores a run. Unfortunately, she is thrown out at third, trying to stretch a double into a triple. The out would prove to be more costly because the next batter, Nikki Soto, smacks a single up the middle, followed by another base hit to right. And right when the Aztecs look like they're going to mount a tremendous comeback, Chelsea Campana sends one to center field, but it doesn't have enough juice, and Blackstone gets the out and kills any potential rally. Assabet goes on to lose. That's it for the highlights. Let's check out some scores around the area.
This week we had lots of sunshine, but some cooler temperatures. It is about to warm up though through the weekend and into Monday. Here's a look at your 5-day forecast.
Firefighter Mark Asenko here with some safe summer tips for you. It's summertime, and that means it's grill time. But before we get started, here are 3 safety tips that you need to know. Before you turn on the gas, make sure the cover is up. Make sure you turn on the gas slowly. When igniting, keep your face away from the grill. Follow these tips and you'll have a safe and tasty barbecue.
Welcome back to Marlborough this week. The Friends of the Marlborough Public Library will be presenting guest speaker Dr. Charles Stith next Wednesday, May 19th in the Bigelow Auditorium of the Marlborough Public Library at 6:30 p.m. Admission is free and the public is invited to attend. For more information, please call Ray Johnson at 413-648-9663. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week. Coming up right now in Marlborough this week, thanks to the outpouring of city residents, the Director of Human Services has been restored to the FY 2011 budget for 6 months. 2 of your 3 Ward 4 candidates debated the issues at a recent forum. Plus, President Obama's recent visit leaves memories that'll last a lifetime and some damage to Marlborough Airport. And later in this half hour, Relay for Life 2010 raises thousands of dollars for the American Cancer Society thanks to dedicated volunteers. Those stories and more on this week's show. Marlborough This Week begins right now. At this week's City Council meeting, the debate over funding the Human Services Department in 2011 continued. Welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette. Here's more on this week's top story. After an emotional discussion Monday night, the City Council chose to fund the Human Services Department for 6 months, just 2 weeks after it cut all of the department's fiscal 2011 funding. Ward 5 City Councilor Robert Seymour suggested the fiscal 2011 budget provide the 6 months of funding, nearly $32,000 for the department. The council approved Seymour's motion in a hand vote. The 6 months of funding would ensure there is no interruption in services and provide time for a review of the department.
I'm not unwilling to look at it. I just think, when you talk about streamlining, how much more streamlined can you get than one person? And I think we get an awful lot out of that one person, more than anybody can imagine.
The Human Services Department addresses such areas of concern as housing needs, emergency food, and disability issues.
I've heard comments, well, I've called the office and she's not there. Well, you know what? Because she's out with clients. She gets a call, she responds, she meets up with the police.
Councilors who voted for the $63,000 cut said it was a way to start a conversation about how the city delivers human services.
At the end of the day, the Human Services Department refers people to other agencies that provide them the help. And the question is whether that is a position that was once done by a volunteer for free is now a position that we should be doing in the city with a department head making $90,000 in salary and benefits.
Ward 2 City Councilor Paul Farrow has stated that several communities, including Billerica, Lawrence, Lynn, Springfield, and Worcester, do not have human services departments, and Marlborough does not need to make its residents pay taxes to help fund one.
I don't think that those communities folks are falling through the cracks. I think they're being served by the same state, federal agencies and by the same nonprofits that they are here in Marlborough.
Mayor Nancy Stevens has stated that she has received close to 1,000 letters requesting the restoration of the department. Much of the correspondence is a form letter, while other letters tell more personal stories.
I have been just amazed at the people that have been coming through the Human Services Department that need help. And, we need to help them.
Stevens stated that she has never seen this kind of response from residents.
I don't think anybody fully understands the impact that this is going to have on all of our other services.
The Human Services cut did not affect charities such as the Marlborough Food Pantry, as the city's budget does not provide them with funding. The council has discussed the possibility of combining the Human Services Department with the Council on Aging.
We have the services here that are being provided. We have the folks here who need it. Do we need something in the middle? And I'm not sure, and I haven't been convinced that we need that intermediate layer.
The City Council also requested that Mayor Nancy Stevens submit a reorganization plan and funding request by September 30th for delivering human services in fiscal 2011, which starts on July 1st.
What I'm looking to do is put together a group of people that have direct contact and direct knowledge of human services and deal with that department, to understand exactly all of the services that are provided. I wouldn't be surprised if they came back and said we need more services and more people.
Following the City Council's cut to the school department budget, school committee members said Tuesday night that they are worried about its effects on the new staff needed to reduce large class sizes. The council on May 10th cut $250,000 from the school department's $48.5 million budget. Foregoing the scheduled budget hearing process, the council cut $2.5 million from Mayor Nancy Stevens' recommended budget and passed a $121.3 million fiscal 2011 budget on May 10th. School officials were ready to discuss the department budget on May 14th, the date of its scheduled hearing with the council's Finance Committee. The school committee's Finance Subcommittee had recommended adding $500,000 to Superintendent Mary Carlson's $48 million budget. The $500,000 included salaries for 2 teachers in both the 4th and 5th grades at the grades 4 through 7 school. Parents and school committee members have said that they are unhappy with the large class sizes in the 4th and 5th grades. The school committee referred the discussion to the Finance Subcommittee. In other business, Superintendent Mary Carlson announced that Emily Murphy is leaving her position as assistant principal at the grades 4 through 7 school. Murphy is moving to California as her fiancé has a job opportunity there, Carlson said in accepting her decision with regret. In addition, an accreditation committee's visit to Marlborough High School wrapped up on Wednesday. The visiting committee from the New England Association of Schools and Colleges has been in Marlborough since last weekend, meeting with school department leaders, school committee members, teachers, and students. Superintendent Mary Carlson told the school committee that she expected the accreditation group to give a few insights into its report on Wednesday afternoon. The visiting committee will eventually draft an evaluation report, but school officials do not expect to get it for a few months. The committee was planning to visit Marlborough last October, but rescheduled its trip at Carlson's request. Teachers were working to rule at the time. The high school goes through reaccreditation every 10 years. For this week's Committee Corner, I'm Dan Ginden.
Ward 4 City Councilor Peter Jouer is stepping down at the end of June, and the race to fill his seat is on. With the preliminary election quickly approaching, 2 of your 3 Ward 4 candidates met with concerned residents this past Thursday night at the Boys and Girls Club of Metro West for a debate. Candidates for a soon vacant City Council seat tackled topics as broad as budget cuts and as ward specific as community policing during Thursday night's debate. Stephen Kerrigan and Robert Chinera are fighting for the Ward 4 position that current City Councilor Peter Jouer will step down from on June 30th. Laura Butland, a 3rd candidate for the seat, did not attend the debate. The preliminary election is set for June 15th. 2 finalists will then face off in the July 13th general election. Kerrigan, a member of the planning board, pledged to be an advocate for the ward.
The job of a ward councilor I see the job of a ward councilor as having 2 main functions. The first and most important is to be the active voice of the residents. I'll be the councilor who is there all the time for the residents and not just during an election season. I'll be there for the residents of our ward. The second function is to prepare for the future health and stability of our city.
Chinera, a real estate agent at Prudential Prime Properties in Marlborough, said he is approachable.
Over the past few years, I've been getting involved with the French Hill Association, Marlborough Community Services, and our Father's Table. And through these organizations, I've been able to kind of get a feel for the local politics here in town, how they work.
The city's budget and recent cuts were topics in Thursday night's debate. Both candidates backed the city's community policing unit, which has a substation on French Hill. Both candidates did state they would not have any conflicts on the council. Numerous residents, city officials, and business representatives gathered at City Hall's Memorial Hall this past Wednesday night to hear about a new energy code. It's called the Stretch Energy Code, and if taken on by the city, it could save the city money. Here's more in the story.
It's important to remember that the standard building code is being updated currently, and a more stringent code is coming into effect for everyone at the beginning of July.
The City of Marlborough is considering adopting the Stretch Energy Code. A workshop was held Wednesday night so residents could hear the details, impacts, and how it will help Marlborough achieve its overall sustainability goals and objectives.
The Stretch Energy Code is a voluntarily adopted alternative building component of the building code that has an objective of reducing energy use by 20%.
The Stretch Energy Code was developed in response to the call for improved building energy efficiency in Massachusetts.
The benefits to the town are obviously the reduced energy cost, reduced energy consumption, reduced greenhouse gas emissions. There's also an improvement in the intrinsic value of structures.
Towns and cities in the Commonwealth may adopt this in place of the energy efficiency requirements of the base building code.
The new construction for residential primarily follows the model that's set up by Energy Star Homes. It uses a lot of the same forms, it uses the same rating system.
As of May 6th, 31 Massachusetts communities have chosen to do so, and many more are considering adopting the Stretch Code.
If the city chooses to adopt the code, it would apply to all new construction, additions to existing buildings, and renovations.
Adoption of a code that minimizes the life cycle cost of new construction through energy efficiency, water conservation, and other renewable or alternative energy technologies is part of the criteria required of communities working to receive official Green Community designation. This will include grant funds through the state's Department of Energy Resources Green Communities program.
The next step would be to take it to City Council for a further discussion and consideration as to whether this is something that the city should do.
The excitement of President Obama's visit to the area last month has turned to a headache at Marlborough Airport, which was damaged by the dozen or more vehicles used in the president's motorcade that day. City councils are petitioning state and federal representatives to revise the regulations or find funding elsewhere for the private public use airport. The City Council on Monday referred the discussion about the problem to the Public Safety Committee. A damage estimate is not currently available. Still to come as we continue with Marlborough this week, the seniors of this community were recognized for being fit and healthy. But first, the Rotary Club holds their annual spring fundraiser. That story is next. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Marlborough this week. The Marlborough Rotary Club presented their annual fundraiser, The Finer Things in Life, this past Thursday night at the new Special Olympics facility at 512 Forest Street. The Finer Things in Life has been a springtime Rotary tradition for 13 years, which brings back more and more people each and every year. The Marlborough Rotary Club presented The Finer Things in Life on Thursday night. This annual gala featured fine wines and spirits, fine foods, and a fine new location, the Special Olympics new Yawkey Sports Training Center at 512 Forest Street. A major allure of the event is the wide variety and high quality of the wines and spirits that are available for tasting. Steve Monty of Monty's Market coordinated the beverages offered for their variety and quality. Every year, the restaurants show off their best cuisine and compete for the Judges' Choice and the People's Choice Awards. Attendees also have the opportunity to sample Marlborough 350 beer, which is a special beer offered only in draft at participating restaurants and pubs for Marlborough's 350th anniversary year. In addition to the food and wine, there was also a live auction and silent auction. An informational display highlighted the Rotary Club's Shelter Box project, which was recently instrumental in providing shelter to thousands of earthquake victims in Haiti. Proceeds from the event have enabled the club to provide educational opportunities and food relief to local residents. Additional information about the Rotary Club can be found at marlboroughRotary.org. Relay for Life 2010 was successful yet again, raising over $100,000 for cancer research. Residents and team members came out to celebrate the lives of our survivors while taking a moment to remember those we have lost. Relay for Life is an all-night extravaganza raising money and awareness to eventually see a world that's cancer-free. Relay for Life 2010 was held once again at Galoni Park from Friday, May 21st through Saturday, May 22nd. To make sure participants are constantly entertained and motivated, organizers plan events to keep them focused. Teams are encouraged to camp out in tents and enjoy the great music, food, and camaraderie of this event. Relay for Life offers more than just a good time. For survivors, Relay for Life is a way to find the comfort zone, security, and support they need. Money raised during the Relay for Life events helps support the American Cancer Society's research, education, advocacy, and patient services. That support may be the key to a world with less cancer. 14-year-old Carly Mongo of Mahar High School was this year's keynote speaker. Carly's mother has been diagnosed with cancer.
I love that so many people from so many different places come together and just there's respect for everyone, and all they're here for is to find a cure.
Her inspiring story was discovered by Kathleen Kelly, the Marlborough Hudson Relay for Life American Cancer Society representative. Carly spoke at the relay to tell her story and to motivate others with how to stay positive during difficult times.
Look at the person that has cancer and see their courage, see their hope, and see their inspiration, and use that to bring to other people and to bring to yourself to be confident that they're going to be fine.
Carly did admit that once her mother is cured, her passion will continue on through the years to help others.
I'm not going to stop until this world is 100% cancer-free.
For more information about the Relay for Life of Marlborough Hudson or to find out how to volunteer for next year, please call Kathleen Kelly at 781-314-2679. This past Wednesday was National Senior Health and Fitness Day. One local exercise club held their annual award luncheon and presentation of the Fit for Life Award to recognize those individuals who continue to put fitness on the forefront.
Each year we choose a senior who who is up in years and very active here at the club, and we honor them with the George Fortin Fit for Life Award.
90-year-old Sister Gaetata Sincata was presented with the 14th annual George Fortin Fit for Life Award during National Senior Health and Fitness Day activities held this past Wednesday at the Wayside Racket and Swim Club.
Just a great active lady, always cheerful, always a kind word for everybody. Here almost on a daily basis, swimming in the indoor pool. She says for her arthritis, it keeps her moving, but just a dynamite lady, such a caring person and gives so much to the community, and so active here at the club. She's the perfect candidate for the George Fortin Award.
The Fortin Fit for Life Award is presented each year to an individual whose lifelong commitment to exercise and physical fitness has served as an inspiration to those whose lives they have touched. It's named after George Fortin, 91 years old of Marlborough, who at age 80 was the first recipient of the award after completing a triathlon that included a 1/4 mile swim, a 9.2 mile bike ride, and a 3.2 mile run.
I wanted to start something that we could present at the senior luncheon every year to acknowledge one of the seniors. I just thought it would be a very appropriate award.
Sincata seemed reluctant to believe that she was really the George Fortin Award winner, staying in her seat until coaxed out of it by McLaughlin.
It's been a wonderful tradition. 14 years we've been presenting this award to our seniors. Some are still with us, some of them have passed on, but it's just a wonderful tradition we're very, very proud of. One of my favorite days.
In other activities at the 14th annual celebration, the Kane School 3rd grade chorus, under the direction of Michael Cicerone, made an appearance, thrilling the crowd with their rendition of Hot, Hot, Hot.
See people rockin', hear people chanting, feeling hot, hot, hot.
Having having the Kane School Chorus come over and sing to them, you know, uniting the third graders with the senior citizens. It's just a wonderful formula.
The city's first community garden, a 2010 Stuff-A-Bus event, your pet of the week, and your local sports wrap-up. It's all coming up next. Don't move. We're back after this short break.
Hi, firefighter Mark Asenko here with some safe summer tips for you. It's summertime, and that means it's grill time. But before we get started, here are 3 safety tips that you need to know. Before you turn on the gas, make sure the cover is up. Make sure you turn on the gas slowly. When igniting, keep your face away from the grill. Follow these tips and you'll have a safe and tasty barbecue.
Welcome back to Marlborough this week. The Marlborough Wellness Movement and the 4 to 7 School Council began creating the first community garden last weekend at the 4 to 7 School, and we were there.
We're building the beds, and we have lots of volunteers, and our goal is to get 4 beds built.
The Marlborough Wellness Movement and the 4 to 7 School Council have created the first community garden at the 4 to 7 School. 4 4-foot by 8-foot raised vegetable gardens were made this past weekend thanks to generous donations from around the community.
We have a number of plants that have been already started by the students here at the 4 to 7 School. And then we have donations of pepper and tomato plants so that we can have some plants that will essentially last through till September.
The gardens were placed in the 4 to 7 School courtyard. As the plant cycle is part of the 5th grade curriculum, all students will get a chance to watch the garden grow until school ends and see a full garden, hopefully with lots of vegetables, when they return in the fall.
Although these are small beds, the big overarching goal is to make more of these, even a greenhouse where that we can then take the food over the summer that we grow and give it to the food pantry.
With summer school students and parents' help, the garden will maintain and grow during the summer months.
They're seeing how it's produced. It just doesn't come off the shelf on the supermarket. There's actually a process to all that, and they're going to see that from start to finish.
Depending upon the quantity and quality of harvest this summer, the committee would love to be able to donate to the city's summer lunch program, then continue to bring fresh vegetables into the cafeteria once school starts again in September.
The students can not only get involved in a little bit of community service for their school, but also to be able to understand that it's important to get back to the soil and grow their own plants, and hopefully that will catch on throughout the community.
Sticking with the 4 to 7 School, their annual Stuff-A-Bus activity aimed at collecting food and items for our Marlborough Food Pantry will be taking place during the first weekend in June. School administrators and parents are excited to kick off the 3rd annual Stuff-A-Bus event, and they need your help to raise over 20,000 pounds of food. The upcoming weeks are sure to feature hazy, hot, and humid days, but the summer of 2010 has a new H in its headline, hunger. In response to this, residents have tried to contribute to the needs of the hungry with several programs designed to provide food for those in need. Students at the Marlborough Middle School undertook a Stuff-A-Bus campaign 2 years ago, and it's going strong.
Stuff-A-Bus is a community service learning project. Every school in Marlborough is participating in the learning project as they did last year. This year we will be sending a bus to stuff to each of the 3 elementary schools in Marlborough on Friday, June 4th from 9 to 11 a.m. Every child will have the opportunity in every classroom to bring their food down and stuff their own bus. Last year we raised 16,000 pounds of food, which was enough to last through the fall.
Those participating in the Stuff-A-Bus campaign include the students, teachers, volunteers, parents, staff, families, and businesses.
We've actually set a goal of 20,000 pounds of goods to be given to the food pantry. And it's a little lofty, but we feel with the fact that we'll be in front of Price Chopper and the bus is going to the elementary schools and we've added a lot of new business partners, we feel that that's a attainable goal.
Summertime brings on the most demand for food because children are at home and they don't have the benefit of school meals.
This year, the need for food and use of the food pantry is up 30% over last year. Last year, it was up 20% over the previous year.
The Marlborough Food Pantry is located in the Walker Building at 255 Main Street.
Sometimes people need a helping hand, and it's okay. and we can come together to help each other through tough times.
Today we have Nina. And Nina is a special little case. She's a lovely dog. She's a Snocker, also known as a half Schnauzer and half Cocker Spaniel. She's a little female. She's young, about a year old. She was just recently spayed, had this beautiful haircut, because when she came in, she was quite a mess. But she definitely needs some socialization. She's never been housebroken. She lived with a family who basically kept her inside all the time. So she really needs some work, some confidence building, and some training. So she may be a little bit of a project, but she'll be worth it in the end. So if you're interested in Nina, please feel free to call us at Buddy Dog. The number is 978-443-6990.
Hello Marlborough, Rob O'Keefe back for another sports update. Last game of the year for the girls lacrosse team, and all eyes were on Katie Brecken and coach Mary Kelleher. Katie, going into the game, had 95 career goals, and for Mary Kelleher, this would be her last game as a head coach after coaching high school teams for 33 years. Picking up the game in the second half, the score was tied 3-3. Katie scores career goal number 98 with a nice cut through the middle to make it 4-3 Marlborough. A few minutes later, Grafton answers back with a goal of their own to tie it up again at 4. Marlborough then regains the lead with a goal from, you guessed it, Katie Brecken. That's career goal number 99 to make it 5-4 the Panthers. All right, with time winding down, Katie still looking for number 100. She makes her move and gets the rebound, gets the goal, but wait, the ref goes to the rule book and says the goal doesn't count. Katie brushes off her shoulders and says no sweat. Marlborough will get another penalty shot, and this time Katie leaves no room for debate. That's a goal, and that's career goal number 100. Marlborough goes on to win 6-5, a great way to finish it.
All right, it feels pretty good. It's been a pretty rough season, so I guess it worked out good, I guess. I wasn't really thinking I was going to get it, but turns out I did. And thanks to my team, everybody helped me out, passed the ball to me. It was a good game.
After the game, Coach Kelleher gave an emotional speech and talked to us about her career.
You know how long I've been doing this? A long time. And I couldn't think of a better group to finish with. I've been blessed to coach some great people. And you guys are right up there. And the way that you built this program and the way that you stuck with it this year, which was, it was hard. I started coaching 33 years ago when I first started teaching here at Marlborough High School. And throughout the years, I've been blessed to coach some tremendous athletes and tremendous kids. And, you know, I had many great years here at Marlborough High and at Hudson Catholic, where I was blessed to coach the basketball team and the soccer team and some great athletes over at Hudson Catholic, and some great athletes here. Kids that have gone from a team, we didn't even have lacrosse here, and we've had kids now playing at the next level in college. And to be a part of building a program like this, to starting it from nothing and to building it up into a good program is, you know, all I can say is I feel so blessed, and I feel so grateful to all the student athletes that I've been able to work with.
Now to the local scoreboard.
Let's see what the weather looks like for the Memorial Day weekend. Here's a look at your 5-day forecast. That's going to do it for this edition of Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Coming up right now in Marlborough this week, the community came together for Memorial Day 2010 festivities. The Public Safety Subcommittee deals with complaints from Marlborough's own local airport. Plus, your Ward 4 City Council candidates speak out about why they are right for the job. And later in this half hour, Relay for Life 2010 fundraising totals and a chat with the chairman of the event. Those stories and more on this week's show. Marlborough This Week begins right now. Welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette. Here's more on this year's Memorial Day festivities. Marlborough's annual Memorial Day Parade took place on Monday as residents of the city paid tribute to those who died while giving their all in service to their country. Members of the Marlborough Veterans Council visited grave sites on Sunday in honor of deceased servicemen. The special remembrance is also about honoring veterans and military men and women on active duty. Veterans led the parade, followed by Mayor Nancy Stevens and members of the City Council and School Committee, the Marlborough High School and Middle School bands, scout troops, and other supporting organizations. Participants in the parade gathered in front of the American Legion post on John Street at 9:30 a.m., proceeded up Maple Street to Main Street, and stopped at war memorials along the way. The parade concluded at the Doughboy Monument in front of the Walker Building on Main Street. This monument honors 37 Marlborough servicemen who answered their nation's call and made the ultimate sacrifice during the war to end all wars. U.S. Congressman James McGovern gave the keynote address, reminding all to remain vigilant to ensure that the true meaning of the day is never forgotten.
This is a day to honor those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. And this is a day to say thank you to the men and women who serve in our armed forces and who have served in our armed forces.
Beyond remembrance of soldiers past and present, Memorial Day offers an opportunity to gather as a community with fellow residents, family, and friends.
Today, we honor everybody, but this is one day, and we need to remember every day to honor those brave men and women who have served our country.
Before Monday's Memorial Day activities took place, a group of 9 and 10-year-old Cub Scouts took part in a Memorial Day tribute as they worked on a Citizens Activity pin. Scout leader Jim Watson thought this would be a great opportunity for the Scouts to give back, but also to learn about citizenship, history, and what it's all about to give back to your country.
We're not just all indoors, we're outside, we're playing, we're having a good time.
Although the Cub Scouts are known for earning badges and camping in the great outdoors, they also participate in many service projects in their local communities. Last weekend, a group of 9 and 10-year-old Cub Scouts did just that. In honor of Memorial Day, PAC 24 and their den leader, Jim Watson, helped the VFW plant flags at the Immaculate Conception Cemetery off Beach Street. Den leader Jim Watson shared some details about this service project.
We came out here about 9 o'clock this morning to meet up with the veterans, and what we're looking for are all the veteran graves. Some of the guys have been really excited. It's almost like a little treasure hunt for them today to find some of them.
Watson explained why he felt this project was so important for the Scouts to participate in.
I think it gives them a sense of appreciation, a sense of history, also gives them a sense, I believe, of involvement, community involvement, maybe start some of them thinking that what it's like to be involved in your community, to bring things back, and also see that people have come before them and have, sacrificed, and some the ultimate sacrifice, so they can enjoy the life that they have today.
On April 1st, President Obama landed at Marlborough Airport, one of 13 privately owned public-use airports in the state. Robert Stetson said his motorcade, not the 6 helicopters, damaged the runway by causing cracks and dips in the pavement. Stetson told a city council subcommittee Wednesday night that he wants to fix the runway damaged by the president's landing, and in the long term, he wants a change in airport funding regulations. Stetson said he immediately requested assistance after noticing the damage, but regulations prohibit privately owned airports from receiving federal funding for repairs. Stetson said he believes those rules are wrong and discriminatory. David Deneen, executive director of the Massachusetts Airport Management Association, stated that changing the rules could be an uphill battle, but urged stakeholders to go for it. Councilor at Large Michael Ossing proposed drawing up a resolution in support of the airport. Nearly every councilor signed on to the council's order to meet with the airport staff. The committee tabled the discussion. For this week's Committee Corner, I'm Dan Ginden.
With 3 official candidates, the Ward 4 City Council race is headed for a preliminary election in a little less than 2 weeks. We spoke with each of them this past week to learn more about each of the candidates and why they're running. We asked each of the candidates why they're running for Ward 4 City Councilor.
I think I have a lot to offer with my management background, my service on the planning board. It'll give me an opportunity to hit the ground running on day one.
I've just been getting involved in the city or different organizations, the Marlborough Food Pantry, which is Marlborough Community Services, the French Hill Neighborhood Association, gotten involved with that. That really propelled me to get involved.
I was born and brought up here, and I want to be a strong voice with the City Council and the Mayor for our citizens.
Each candidate feels that they are the best fit for this position, and here's why.
I'm available anytime to talk to anybody, and I'm a counselor who will be able to participate fully in all aspects of the council. I have no conflicts that will prevent me from doing anything, so I think that's important.
People are passionate about the city, about their area, and just want to help them out. And being on Sumner Street in Marlborough, I could see a lot of good things going on, and I just want to keep it going.
I live here, I work here, I'm raising a family here, I'm running a business here that I have for over 13 years. I have roots here. I feel strong about Ward 4 and our end of the city. I love this ward.
The Ward 4 preliminary election is taking place on June 15th, which will take the current 3 candidates down to 2. And the Ward 4 election will be taking place on July 13th. The American Heart Association is currently out in communities nationwide this week for their annual CPR Week. The week of June 1st through the 7th is aimed at training and making people more aware of this life-saving technique. Marlborough Rotarians were involved at the meeting this past Thursday as they learned the life-saving details from an American Heart Association representative. Here's more on this story. Maura Navin-Webster of the American Heart Association spoke to Rotary Club members at this week's meeting to teach the basics of CPR training. The American Heart Association's CPR Week runs from June 1st to the 7th.
Really getting folks comfortable with the knowledge of how to perform CPR, even simply hands only, so if you're a little hesitant about the mouth-to-mouth and the administering of breaths, really just focusing on those chest compressions, hard and fast, center of the chest, 100 beats per minute.
During CPR Week, the association will be increasing awareness about CPR and automated external defibrillators, more commonly known as AEDs, so more people will know the simple steps to save a life.
Basically, an effort to get, this year, 1 million people trained in CPR and how to competently use an AED, which, as we've talked about before, Kristen, is very easy. You just turn it on, does all the work for you. Follow the instructions, and to use an AED is virtually foolproof. It will not administer a shock unless you need it.
Sudden cardiac arrest can strike anyone, anywhere, and any time, and when it does, a victim's survival depends on the people around them. Training more people to perform CPR in its 50th year as a life-saving measure increases survival by enabling more possible bystanders to handle an emergency.
And that's what we're doing here at Rotary today, is actually training all the Rotarians via a grant from the Metro West Community Healthcare Foundation, getting the community trained so that these 40 Rotarians will be able to take it home, teach their family and friends, and then all those people will have the knowledge and the comfort level to act if someone does suffer a cardiac event in their presence.
Still to come as we continue with Marlborough this week, the first ever community garden has begun to grow. But first, donations from Stuff a Bus 2010 will finally come together this weekend, and it's not too late for you to make your contribution. That story is next. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Marlborough this week. Representatives from Marlborough Hospital dropped off over 700 pounds of food and items for the Marlborough Food Pantry at the 4 to 7 school for their Stuff a Bus donation drive on Wednesday afternoon. The third annual service learning project is currently underway, and contributions will be coming together this weekend. The Marlborough 4 to 7 school kicked off its third annual Stuff a Bus 2010 Food Pantry Donation Drive on Monday, May 17th, which will be lasting until this Monday, June 7th. It's a Marlborough 4 to 7 school community service learning project and a citywide effort to help support the Marlborough Food Pantry.
We've actually set a goal of 20,000 pounds of goods to be given to the food pantry. And it's a little lofty, but we feel with the fact that we'll be in front of Price Chopper and the bus is going to the elementary schools and we've added a lot of new business partners, we feel that that's a attainable goal.
Letters were mailed to local businesses to ask for food and personal items. Each individual school in Marlborough held its own drive as well. All donations came together by Friday, June 4th. The Marlborough Food Pantry serves up to 1,000 Marlborough residents, including up to 450 children every month. The need for food donations in Marlborough has increased almost 30% from 2009 to 2010. The summer months see a drastic rise in the need to help our friends and neighbors as there is no school lunch program. Last year at Stuff a Bus 2009, 16,000 pounds of food and supplies were collected. This was enough to stock the food pantry for the entire summer and into the fall. Thanks to the Stuff a Bus initiative, the food pantry did not have a shortage of food and toiletries last summer. Sticking with the 4 to 7 school, the city's first ever community garden is coming along quite nicely. Thanks to abundant sun and water, the plants are already growing. The gardens are a Wellness Council initiative, but will continue thanks to students, resident volunteers, and Wellness Committee members. Garden volunteers and school officials hope that when students return in the fall, there will be lots of vegetables to share at lunch and in the classrooms. Relay for Life Marlborough Hudson 2010 was a complete success, and officials have stated that the current fundraising total is $108,000, which will go straight to the American Cancer Society. We spoke with the event chairman Bob Kays this past week to see how he feels about how the event went.
This is probably the most close-knit community to raise funds for people that are in need, and I just absolutely love that about Marlborough.
Teams of volunteers walked all night around Goloney Park to raise money for cancer research this month. The night kicks off with a survivor's lap in which cancer survivors walk together around the track. Later in the evening, everyone participates in walking a lap in memory of loved ones who have died from cancer. Team members shared time walking in relay fashion with one person from their group on the track all night long. Relay for Life is the main volunteer-driven cancer fundraising event of the American Cancer Society. Originating in the United States, the Relay for Life event has spread to 21 countries worldwide. Relay events are held in local communities, campus universities, and military bases. Although the main objective of Relay is to raise money for cancer research and cancer patients, the event is held to spread cancer awareness, celebrate the lives of survivors, remember those who lost their lives to cancer, and unite a community in the fight against cancer. It's estimated that the Relay for Life events have raised over $3 billion to date. While Marlborough has been a host city for the Relay for Life for many years, the event has reached new heights recently under the leadership of Bobby Kays, owner of the Prospector Bar and Grill, and a longtime organizer of major fundraising events.
I know the right people to talk to where they can help me out.
Kays was touched by cancer in 2008 with the passing of his sister. According to Kays, the single most significant change he has implemented is a change in venue. Formerly held at Assabet Tech, he noted that Galoni is an ideal location for the event, which is festive on one hand and solemn on the other.
This year, the parking went smooth, the drop-offs went smooth. I felt that the people really responded well.
For more information about the Relay for Life of Marlborough Hudson, or to find out how to volunteer for next year, please call Kathleen Kelly at 781-314-2679. To continue with the relay, the faculty and residents of Christopher Heights did their part for the event by donating a sweet treat for this great cause. Here's more on the story. It seemed like cookies were everywhere you looked as the residents of the Christopher Heights Assisted Living Facility volunteered their time to help package over 1,000 cookies for the Relay for Life fundraising event. This isn't the first time these residents have helped out at the facility.
The residents here are very willing to do lots of outreach programs. We have a lot of them. We have a women's group that does Pillow Pals. They do a food drive. They have done a hat and mitten drive for the local school systems in Marlborough, food pantry drive for the Marlborough Food Pantry. They're very willing to give back, so any way that they can, we welcome it.
This isn't the first time Christopher Heights helped with the Relay for Life either. Last year, the two chefs from the facility cooked hamburgers and hot dogs all night long, but this year, it was all about the cookies. With the extra dough left over from the cookie making, Chef Savageau made a giant cookie in the shape of a breast cancer ribbon. Madison Balvin, one of the day's youngest volunteers, helped to collect all the cookies that were packaged by the residents. She also was participating in the relay that night, so this activity made her feel good to help out.
I went around and carted the cookies. It makes me feel that I'm caring and helpful.
All residents, staff, and volunteers at Christopher Heights feel good about doing their part to help the community with the cookies they make and then donate. A national night out and your pet of the week. It's coming up next. Don't move. We're back after this short break. Welcome back to Marlborough this week. Target stores, the police and school departments are joining forces to bring more knowledge to the community about what the police department does to increase crime prevention. The 4th grade students are being targeted with this national night out, but the entire community is invited to participate. Here are some details. Since it began in 1984, National Night Out has heightened crime prevention awareness, and Marlborough is taking part in this annual tradition for the first time.
We're going to have an open house at the police station. During the open house, the French Hill Association will be doing guided tours through the station. In addition to that, we'll have activities outside in the baseball diamond behind the middle school. There'll be food, a cookout, some activities as far as face painting, dunk tank.
Representatives are inviting the Marlborough 4th grade students to participate in a poster contest. This grade was selected because these students are at a sensitive age where they are potentially exposed to events that can place them at risk.
The students will be asked to depict, provide information about the night itself, the date, the time, etc., as well as the name, and then do their own depiction. What do they think it's about to have the National Night Out? What does it look like in there'll be a team, representatives from each of the department, from Target, from the police department and the school, the poster contest.
This National Night Out will be taking place on Tuesday, August 3rd from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
It's really great for a community when an organization such as Target and the police and the school department can really work together and on such a valuable, really for a National Night Out, what a great thing for our kids.
Today we have Sam, and Sam is a purebred Cocker Spaniel. He's about 3 years old. He's a neutered male. He's very handsome, friendly. He does have some behavioral issues that really need a little bit of work. He was adopted out from Buddy Dog, but didn't really have a lot of structure and training, which dogs really need in order to look at you as their leader. So if you feel like you're up for something like that and want the really rewarding experience of helping a dog to come around, please feel free to call and ask about Sam. The number here at Buddy Dog is 978-443-6990.
Now, here's a look at your 5-day forecast.
Hi, firefighter Mark Asenko here with some safe summer tips for you. It's summertime, and that means it's grill time. But before we get started, here are 3 safety tips that you need to know. Before you turn on the gas, make sure the cover is up. Make sure you turn on the gas slowly. When igniting, keep your face away from the grill. Follow these tips, and you'll have a safe and tasty barbecue.
Welcome back to Marlborough This Week. Coming up next Saturday, June 12th, Marlborough Hospital will be hosting its 12th annual Safe Summer Fun Day on the lawn of the hospital at 157 Union Street. The event will once again sponsor bike helmet fittings, face painting games, and giveaways. For more information, please call 508-486-5806. And on that same day, the city will be officially celebrating its 350th birthday. You can celebrate with the entire community on Union Common from 10 to 4 p.m. with a Civil War Living History Day. The John Brown Bell will also be ringing during the day's festivities. We will be covering the event, and we'll bring you a full recap on Marlborough This Week. And that evening at 7 p.m. at the Best Western Royal Plaza Hotel, there will be a benefit for Paula Babineau, a Marlborough resident who is battling leukemia for the second time. Tickets are $20 each, and for more information, please call 508-333-4931. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week.